Struggle. I think struggle is something which pushes you out of your comfort zone, which lets you move out of of the zone where you're comfortable in, and it is something which makes you feel uncomfortable, like which you feel, or you feel physically uncomfortable, you feel mentally, or you feel emotionally uncomfortable. So that is where, when we say that a person is really struggling, so I feel that that's what struggle is. And everyone has their own fair share of struggles in their life. No one's
So, hello everyone. We are back with another episode of Mitti Ke Rang. I'm your host Abhishek Kumar. Today we have Varsha Coker with us. Hi Varsha, how are you?
I'm good, Abhishek. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm great, Varsha. I'm very excited to interview you, Varsha.
I'm thrilled to be here and looking forward to our conversation, Abhishek.
So let me introduce Varsha. She is working as an associate in Goldman. She also worked as a senior software engineer in Ernst and Young, Georgia, also as a senior software engineer in TCS. She also have almost 6 year experience working with Pega BPM application development tool. So, ma'am, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of whole team of Mitti Gerang. We are so glad to have you here.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. And I'm equally glad to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. So let's just start with a very beautiful question. What is struggle according to you, and what part struggle played in your life?
Struggle. I think struggle is something which pushes you out of your comfort zone, which lets you move out of of the zone where you're comfortable in, and it is something which makes you feel uncomfortable, like which you feel, or you feel physically uncomfortable, you feel mentally, or you feel emotionally uncomfortable. So that is where, when we say that a person is really struggling, so I feel that that's what struggle is. And everyone has their own fair share of struggles in their life. No one's life is perfect. Um, right, nowadays we are hearing this nepotism debate in Bollywood, and outsiders say that they are the only ones who are struggling in their life, but even star kids say that they have their own struggles. So that's actually based on different individuals. Struggle has its own definition for each different individual. I would not say that star kids do not understand what struggle is, but outsiders might uh, have worked very uncomfortably rather than the star kids. So for me, struggle in my life was mainly to constantly improve myself, because I was I'm not a very talented or a gifted or a creative child. Since my childhood, like I was not I was an average or a mediocre child, as you say. Like we have like 80%, and parents want their children to be exceptionally good in everything. I don't know why that's the expectation, but that's what parents feel, that their child should do these all these things. But uh, that's not how kids are. They are very like average people. So uh, for me, I kind of worked really hard for my academics to score higher percentages. There were very few students who never used to study, but they still used to like rank first in the class, and they used to say that, okay, we study just 1 hour a day. I don't know how that happened with those kids, but I was the one who used to study really hard. I was like very particular about doing my homeworks, doing my summer holiday homeworks, and things like that. So one instance that I remember was, actually there are two. I would tell you two incidents in my life. Um, so I was very young. I was in second or third standard, and we lived in a house where there was no power backup. And kids every day they get homework and they have to submit it the next day because they have their own deadline. So that evening there was no power in my house, and I don't know why. I cannot remember why I did not do my homework during the daylight, but it was dark when I started doing my homework. And since there was no, so I saw that there was a street light on the street. There was like a tube light, and I got a chair there, and I sat on that chair, and I did my homework. And street lights are really up. I was really struggling to see
Yeah.
what's there in the notebook, because it's very high, so the light is very dim. um, that was one incident. So I know I did it just for once, but that incident I remember, and I think I will remember during my entire life, that I did it. And the other incident was, when we yeah when I was a bit older than that. I think I was in 7th or 8th. And I had exams, like the final term exams that we used to happen in February or March every year. And we used to stay in a one room, one RK, like one room kitchen apartment at that time. So there was the kitchen just attached to the room, and just the bathroom. So, and my dad, he was very tired that day, and I was studying late at night to prepare for my exam, do my revisions, things like that. I think I was left with some of my preparations to be done. So he said that he's very tired and he wants to sleep. He cannot sleep with the lights on. So he said that he's going to turn off the lights. And I was very scared that if I don't revise, or if I don't finish my course, I would not score a good percentage in my final terms, even though those were not boards or anything. So I again got a chair, and I sat in the bathroom, because bathroom was the only place where there was a wall, actually, because kitchen also did not had a separate wall. So I sat in the bathroom, I closed the door, and I turned on the light, and I studied over there on that chair for my next day exam. So that was another incident. And even when I started working out, initial few years were very hard, because it's not a cakewalk when you get into IT, and you get into the culture. Because we as students, we think that okay, IT is very good, and it's good. We see all these fancy AC offices, but it's not like that. If you want to grow in your career, there are certain struggles over there also that you have to do, and you have to think about your growth also. So during my initial few years also, I struggled very hard. So I am still struggling in my life. I think it is an ongoing process for
Yeah.
everyone. um, and I think one one person who stood by me during all this time was my mother, my mom. So she has been there for me all this while. So I would say that yeah, she was a part. I mean, everyone was a part in my family, but she was there who saw it happen, because I'm closest to my mom in my family. So yeah, I think she was there when I did all those things as a child, and whenever I'm facing any issues now also.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agreed with you. Struggle have different rules for everyone life. Like talking about myself, electricity is not an issue, but right now getting Wi-Fi and full signals is actually an issue in this COVID and system. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
With changing times, the
yeah.
struggles of people will also change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Completely agreed with you. So,
Right.
so what was the role of your mother, like being at your side, and she, as you told that she struggled the most. So, what was the role of your mother as being there for you always? So,
So I think everyone's mom is a part of their journey, like every child's journey. The mom also uh, is also a part of that journey, and she also travels the same road as the child does. So my mom has been my biggest support in terms of whether it's emotional support or whether it's mental support. I know that there are, like, she's a housewife, there are certain things that is out of her control or she cannot help me with. But even now, if I'm in any problem, the first number that I think of dialing, or the first person I want to tell it about, whether it's a work problem also. And I know that she is not going to do anything. She does not have any business to do with it. But I would like call up my mom and I would say, okay, I'm facing all these things. So I would say that, yeah, she has been there with me whenever I am emotionally down, or if I need mental strength. And she has been constantly supporting me, even though she was of my age. So she is very understanding also, I would say. So she supports me completely. She understands me, even in certain times when I'm feeling very down, or very low. She's the one who tells me to look at the brighter side, or just to see the silver lining from the cloud. So that's the role that she has played in my life. And not just my mom, I think my brother has also been there. So my brother was the second person whom I rely on. They both have my back all the time. So yeah,
Since
that's what she is for me.
since I'm also very close
Sense.
to my mother, so mother actually a real example of actual sacrifice, I think. And they actually taught us how to
True.
be confident in the life. Like we were a child, and we don't know how to react at particular situation, and they actually we are actually reflection of our parents, and especially mothers, and because they were always
Yes.
there for us. And that is really a great example of sacrifice. So since
True.
you
True. I
yeah,
completely agree.
yeah, so since you have also worked in Georgia for an year or two, so what do you think is the difference between the workspace of Georgia and India?
Okay, so let me think. So when I was in Georgia, I think the main difference I would say is not because of the region or countries as such. It's how the people of that country respond to their work, or what they feel about their work. That forms a major difference. So here in India, uh, I know people like in India also, they're work loving people and they are workaholics. I think Indians are the most from a technical perspective, like the techies, most of them are Indians. Even if you see news
Yeah,
from abroad, you will see that Indian techie does
yeah, we
this
got
thing,
a lot
Indian
of
techie
surveys. Yeah,
does that. True, true. So yeah, so that even in abroad, there are the technical expertise. Still, Indians are at the top over there. But from a people perspective, there is a big difference in the way that they practice their work culture and we practice our work culture. So, for example, I'll tell you in India, like based on my experience of working in corporate and IT, we tend to take like 3 breaks in a day. Like we go to office, and then we take a morning coffee break, we take a lunch break, and we go for an evening tea or snacks break. And we usually tend to stretch those breaks to 30 minutes or 45 minutes, even though we have work over there. But I think there people they come to office just to work. I think that's why they finish their work sooner and they go back home and have their work life balance also. In India, you would see people working till 12 a.m. in the night, 1 a.m. in the night. They are in offices. It's not that they cannot finish that work in that day. It's just that the they have that mindset, okay, we will start the work by the end of the day and we'll finish it before leaving. So they start late, that's why they finish late. There people start early and finish early and go back to their families also early, and have a proper work life balance. So I think there the work life balance is better. And here since because of this mindset, and also the second factor I would say um, is the because the businesses are driven from west. So that's also one factor that people or teams in India have to work later in the night, because there are morning calls, or you have to connect with the other stakeholders which are in the western countries. So but I found that there I was having more time for myself, and it was, even though I did equal amount of work there, but I kind of felt a little bit chilled out in my life. Like it was It was not everything was urgent. Work is there, but not every work is urgent. But here every work is portrayed that it's very urgent. It has to be done, otherwise I don't know what will happen. So
So
that's
since
the major difference that I've found.
we had seen some surveys on people coming on news that in India women have been wages less than men. So do you think that it is true, or do you think it is false?
See, pay disparity is there, I think, in almost every industry. But I think it's mostly highlighted in Bollywood in India. So Bollywood
Yeah.
actresses are the ones who are most vocal about the pay disparity. The other thing in corporate, what I have seen is. I have personally not. I personally don't feel that that's the case here. It all depends on individual to individual. Doesn't matter whether you're a men, or whether you're women. That there has to be a pay disparity. It purely depends on the talent. And the smart thing is, people are very reluctant to disclose their pay to their peers also here in India. So, but whatever interaction I have had with my peers who are actually my friends, so that's how I would have got to know that it's not like that in corporate, at least at my level. It might be the scenario at higher management, or a top leadership management level. Like if a CEO of a company is a male, or if it's a female, I don't know how the pay is going to be for them. But yeah, at least at my level, it's not like that. It has to be your skill which determines how much you're going to be paid.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So how you got into Goldman?
Getting into Goldman,
Goldman is a big MNC,
it
and it
was
is a big achievement actually, being into Goldman. And how do you
I
got into it? Yeah.
I know it's the top investment banking firm
Yeah.
of the world. So obviously it is a very big achievement that I'm a part of Goldman, and I'm very proud to be associated with such a company of such a reputation in the entire world. But it was very unintentional for me. So if you ask me, I never planned that I would go to Goldman. I know there are dream companies for when you are in college final years, that this is the
Yes.
dream company to work for. But that was not the case for me. Even like most of the people, they don't have, they are ignorant that Goldman is such a huge company. Even in India, I don't think many people know about it, apart from the one who are in either banking sector or in IT sector. So that was the case for me also. Due to my lack of knowledge, I was also not aware of the magnitude that this company is having, or the impact that this company is having in the world. But yeah, I was just looking out for a change when I came back from United States, and I was working with EY. So I just started looking out for changing the company, and that's when I found an opening. Luckily for me, on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn played a good role for me to get into Goldman. And companies like Goldman, or dream companies, or very big companies, they don't use platforms like Naukri.com to post, or ShineJobs.com to post their job requirements, because they attract the top talent of the industry. They don't hire anyone who's mediocre, or uh, or just who's working in any normal company. I know, like everyone is doing their best that they can, but yeah, Goldman has this policy that their benchmark is always the top, at the top level. So they hire, even for campus placement, they go to colleges like IITs or IIMs, NITs. So they go to top 8-year colleges in India. So because of that, because I was there in LinkedIn, and I stumbled upon an opening in Goldman, and I applied over there. And the skill set that I possess it was very niche at that point in time, a couple of years back. So I got a call, and I interviewed there, and that's how I got the offer.
Wow. That is good. LinkedIn also played a great role in my life. Also, that is how I got internship in MKR as well, and now I'm interviewing you as a podcast creator. Yeah, so that is really also played an important role in my life, and so I can relate to it. So,
Yeah.
who was your biggest inspiration to you? Like we have a time when
Um,
we actually demotivated from something, like from work or someone had said us something. So who was the inspiration? Like I want to go like him or her, and I just want to walk in that path. And who actually inspires you?
okay. From the inspiration point of view, I think I am more motivated by myself. Like I have a self motivation factor, because external motivations or external inspirations, they changes or they die down after some time. So a person has to be self motivated. Inspiration is something that you cannot take from yourself, but I that's why I'm using the word motivation here, because motivation is something that you can find within yourself to do something. So motivation, rather than external factors, I know definitely there are external factors for me also to keep me motivated, but more than that, I rely on my self motivation, because I am constantly, if I want to do something, and if I just rest or break for some time, I would be like constantly in my mind thinking that I'm wasting my time, I should get up. I don't like do all these timetable or time management things or work management things, but my brain does not let me stop if I want to do something. So I think my motivation comes from my within. And from an inspiration perspective, there are n number of things, if you see around you in your life, that can inspire you. So if I tell you the example, I just saw this news of this kid in UP. He's a son of a farmer. They're very poor, they don't even own a phone, and he scored some 98% percentage in his senior secondary, and now he's going to go to US on a scholarship. So just think that people who with such lack of resources and means, they achieve such greater heights, because I think talent is not something which can be bounded within boundaries. So people who are talented definitely motivates, inspires me. But if I cannot develop that talent within myself, I just become motivated to become a better version of myself. Not that I want to copy someone or copy something. So I think that's my recent inspiration. That boy who was there. So the n number of things like that are there. Like you see many physically disabled people clearing UPSC, going to the top positions, cracking all these things. So I think that people like us who have by God's grace, we have all the means available at our disposal right now. And we find excuses that, okay, we cannot do this thing because of these and this reason. These are all just excuses. We can actually achieve anything and everything if we want to. So you have to be self motivated and just take inspiration from people around you. So I don't have any one person as such to that I look up to for inspiration, but I just try to find inspiration in things happening around me, or around in the world.
Yeah, I also remember that guy from UP. Actually, my father is in Delhi police, and he have that group on WhatsApp. They used to share the things like a Delhi police son, a Delhi police father son become that IAS officer, and that thing, all
Yeah.
the motivational stuff. So my father always show me the thing, see, learn from him, and something like that. So that could be the motivation for me, but that actually doesn't give me that much motivation. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
different
I think
for
for
everyone.
motivation you
Yeah,
have to look.
yeah,
Yeah, and you have to find that motivation within yourself, to be able to constantly work towards that goal that you want to achieve to. So
yeah.
yep,
But you are
that's what
you are
inspires
really a
and motivates me.
biggest inspiration to me, definitely.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. So sweet of
So
you.
So since you are also the part of the recruiting team of the Goldman, so what tips you want to give to the students that who want to crack the interview of Goldman or such big MNCs?
Okay, yeah. So, yep, you're right that I have been recently part of couple of campus recruitments that we are doing. So, I think the thing that we look in any campus recruit is it's it's the personality of that individual. So I know that in colleges uh, there is a focus on personality development or as an individual development of the person, but they say that you have to be technically very good, even if you like, if you like, if you do the coding, or if you are very good in Java or any such coding languages, um, then you will be hired by the top companies. But I don't think that's the case, because companies like Goldman, they see a person, uh, they seek a person who is actually a good cultural fit also. Like every company has their own set of principles, or a specific set of morals that they follow, and they want people culture. uh, Different companies have their own principles and their own set of criteria. I'm just strictly talking about my experience with hiring in Goldman. So we seek a person who is a good cultural fit also. Like you should be a good team player. You should not be just like in your own world without listening to anyone. You should be respectable for others and their ideas. You should have a hearing capacity also. It's not that if you are in a discussion and you are just talking and you're not even listening or understanding other person's point of view. Communication and interpersonal skills plays a huge part. Even if you are a 19 out of 20 in your technical or in your coding skills, that is still acceptable. But if you are exceptionally well in your communication and interpersonal skills, if you can clearly put across your thoughts in a forum or in a group of people, that's what Goldman looks for. Because we like to have people who are best and who can talk their mind, who can communicate really well, who can fit into the company's cultural perfectly. So I think cracking round one of the interview, which is technical round, it's very easy nowadays, because campus recruits, there is not much expectation in terms of technical. You should be knowing what you studied in your college, because real time scenarios, I'll tell you this, real time applications and businesses are completely opposite to what is being taught in colleges. So there is no correlation. It's just a very basic part that you should know those concepts, but those are never used. You should just know that, okay, these are the data structures, these are the OOPS concepts. These concepts are used, but the actual coding things are never used. Like C++, hardly, like Java is extensively used, and even C++ is being used, but it is not used at the level which is being taught at the level of colleges. So you can anyway learn. If you have that acumen, you can anyway learn. So you should be focusing on your 360 personality development, your interpersonal skills, and your aptitude, your logical reasoning. Like sometimes we ask, even like if a person, we interview people from mechanical background also. So for those people, we don't ask coding questions, because we don't expect them to code. So there are, like, we ask them aptitude related questions, because they should be having that analytical and logical ability to think and understand a problem and come up with a solution, even if it's not a coding problem. So that's what I would say, that this is a tip for everyone. Don't just be involved in your or mug up your books or your coding problems, because nowadays everyone is doing competitive programming, and we know students are very well prepared by you making use of these online resources, Geek for Geeks, Hacker Earth, all these places. So
Guys know
that's not
about this.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's not exactly what will get you into big firms like Goldman.
So as an part of being in IT field, so what do you think will be the next technology which will be in boom? Just right now, there's a boom of AI, and and still booming.
Mhm.
So what do you think will be the next technology which will come into the boom, like AI and deep learning?
Okay, I think AI has just started out, so
Yeah,
AI has not reached its full potential industry. So AI is still is definitely going to continue for a while now. And I think one major area which I think that's also right now in business, but that's data analytics. So analytics of data is at boom right now. Like if you know the concepts, or if you know how to because data, you would have seen that over the years we have heard that the most valuable thing in this world is data.
yeah.
Nothing else is more valuable in data. So find analyzing the data and finding the relevant and valuable information from data is the next big thing. So AI is definitely going to continue. Data analytics, I would say, is another thing. And I know we have like all these front end Python, Angular JS, but these have been there for quite a while, and all the front end companies are using it. So these two things are definitely going to be there for a while
So
and
let's
on
just
the boom.
start with some funny and interesting part. So there's a rapid fire round right now. I will be asking you some questions, and you
Oh,
will have to answer in just 1 second. And I have some prepared some questions for you.
one
So,
second.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So my first question is, which
Okay.
place you want to visit after COVID?
Bali.
Oh, oh, great, great. Second is, what is your favorite website, which you think is the best these days?
My favorite website.
Yeah, you often visit, that you often visit.
My favorite website. Uh, Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. Okay,
Netflix is
great.
my favorite website these days.
So since you told Netflix, so which is your favorite web series on Netflix?
I watched favorite series on Netflix. There are many series on Netflix, but I think the one that is there going on for quite a while is Money Heist these days.
Oh
It's
yeah,
on the hype, and then Mirzapur 2 is also coming. I just got to know it yesterday that Mirzapur 2 is coming. So I think yeah, these are Money Heist. I watched recent. I would want to watch it, the latest season, but I have not yet watched it because of some time constraints. But yeah, Mirzapur, I'm definitely looking forward to. And one series that I liked was there's a series called You. So second season of that series came. Yeah, I like that.
I'm also waiting for Money Heist next season. Yeah.
Okay.
So what will be the three wishes from Ginny that you wanted to grant have?
Three wishes from Genie.
Yeah.
Canadian PR.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
yeah. What else? Three wishes. Canadian PR, maybe a Mustang, and what's the third? And let maybe $1 billion.
Oh, wow, that is great. So, are you preparing for going to Canada these days?
Yes, actually, I've been planning
Wow.
for quite a while, but I'm not getting time to give my IELTS. So IELTS is the language test,
Yeah.
which I'm planning to appear for next month. So
Oh my. Wow. So great. So, what is
yep.
your best childhood memory?
Sorry, Abhishek, I didn't hear you.
So, what is your best childhood memory?
My best childhood memory. That's I of so many things. Oh yeah, so I would not say best, but this is what I can think of right now. So me and my brother, when we were very small, like we were very young, so we used to take like we used to make our bathroom as swimming pool, and we used to just imitate swimming in
Wow.
our like fill it with water and swim it over there. So I could think of that. Like I sometimes think of that yeah, we used to do that, and there was like a we used to have a big tub of water, and sometimes we'll just sit in there, or we just pour the water and we'll not let it escape, and we'll try like imitating swimming in the bathroom.
Wow, wow,
Me and
that
my
is so
brother
great.
together.
Yeah, very, very that is really very, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
So it was great interviewing you, Asha. I would like to thank you for your wonderful words and for your inspiring words to all our part of to all our students in MKR and to everyone. So it was really great.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, Abhishek. It was really nice having this conversation with you, and it definitely brought back a lot of memories for me also,
Yeah,
like the
definitely
questions that you have
that
asked.
swimming one,
So
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm really happy that I got to speak with you via Mitti Ke Rang, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, audience, this is all for today. We will be back with another story, another person. So, for now, be safe, stay tuned. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.